Wow, I'm late. Sorry about that. I got a little distracted there at the end, and then I panicked and clicked the wrong button. Then I had to fix that mistake and click the right button. Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. It is Thursday, July 18th. Half of July's already flown by us. It's amazing how fast these months are going by. I got a lot done this morning. I started working out there at 6 a.m. and worked till about 11:15. And this was the nicest day so far. It was in the 70s the whole time, and the humidity had dropped. So it was fairly good working out there until I was working in the direct sun. And then even then it's kind of bad. But anyway, I just want to remind you of a couple things. First of all, this evening at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, we will be doing another mandolin lesson. This will be mostly just reviewing what we've already been talking about and practicing several different songs, reviewing some of the chord patterns in those songs. Here's a little video just because I could. This is probably one of the last times I'll get to see them before they take off. There are lots of them. I don't know how many. I'd say over 30 for sure. There's tons of them. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Just lots of them. I don't know how many, but there's a bunch. Look at them all. I love it. Well, I got to put up another dozen houses for sure next year. And I'll bet they'll fill them. Yeah, it tickles me to have them back because it took, I had them early on. The first time I put up houses, I got them, had them for 2 or 3 years. Then the owls and the hawks killed all the babies, and because I didn't have those long entrance tunnels, and it took me 12 years, I think, to get them back again. Now that they're back, I want to keep them back. I've had them for about 3 years now back, I guess, something like that. Anyway, I'm going to put up a bunch more houses next year. No problem, except that it's real expensive. There's nothing cheap about it. And if you're interested in Purple Martins, I do have a link to the houses that I buy. They're definitely the better houses to get. They cost more, but you get what you pay for. Let's see. I went out bright and early and started sawing cedar logs. So here's a little short video clip on that. Well, it's 6:30 a.m. and it seems dark in here to me. Of course, this makes it look lighter on this camera. But I'm going to try to cut some of these larger, bigger cedar trees. And get some decent logs out of them because I need some siding, and I'm going to need a bunch of shingles and things like that down the road. So let's see how well that goes. Well, after a few hours work, I've got one log on the sawmill, so I've got the sawmill set back up. I decided to leave it back under the overhang this time. For one reason, I'll have some shade a little bit, but also that'll keep it out of the weather better rather than using a tarp. And I can still load the logs on it, which works out really well. Here's the other logs that I cut this morning. And we ended up with 9 logs total. Some of them get pretty small on the ends down here, but I can still get some siding or 2x4s out of them, I think. So I'm going to get busy, try to get at least this one log sawed up before it gets too hot. And that one log that was on the sawmill that you saw in that video, how many 2x4s do you think I got out of that one log? Now keep in mind, they're not very big, but how many 2x4s did I get out of that? For the logs I have, that was one of the larger, but it's still a small log. You can still pick up one end of it fairly easy by hand. So it's not real big. Anyway, so I'll just leave that there. You can put your guesses in the comments, and I'll tell you a little later how many I actually got out of that one log that was on the sawmill. When I was trying to carry the logs back, if I would have had some help here, I could have, brought a tractor and a trailer out there, and I could have took the Bobcat or something, and I could have loaded the logs right into a trailer and made one trip. But since I didn't have any help, I went back there with the Bobcat, with the grapple bucket, and I started grabbing the logs to carry them back up to the shop there. And I could barely get, well, 2 logs really I could get fairly well. Once in a while I could get 3 logs, and in most of the time, even with the 3, I would end up dropping one of them. So I thought, how can I fix this problem? Well, the problem is that bucket is got a sloped edge. The edges of that bucket slope down, and there's no cutout. And so I thought, if I had that bucket cut out, it would really help a lot. I could get a lot more logs on here. So rather than just 2 logs, I could get 3 for sure, and maybe 4 even. So I just happened to remember that I haven't finished my video on the plasma cutter that Vevor sent me. They sent me a new plasma cutter, and I didn't tell you about that yet, but I was going to tell you when I put the video out. Anyway, I already did the unboxing, put it together, and talked about it a little bit, but I'd never tried it. I had never even plugged it in until today, when I decided I need to cut that bucket out. Well, that bucket's almost a 1/2 inch thick in the area that I want to cut out. So I thought, well, will this little 50 amp plasma cutter do that? And sure enough, it did. It did a really good job. So I cut that out, and I'm going to be producing that video maybe between now and the lesson time. I'm going to be trying to get that video going. Probably won't get it released because I'll probably give Vevor a chance to look at it. But anyway, it kind of saved the day for me, because when I went back to that log pile, I grabbed 4 logs on the first grab, which I could barely get 2 before that. So that really helped a lot. Anyway, so the plasma cutter saved the day for me. I guess that's really about everything I was going to cover. Just want to remind you one more time that set your clocks for 7 o'clock this evening, and we'll get on to the lesson. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the guitar sold. I didn't actually look at one place on my website that would tell me for sure, but what I did look at, it doesn't look like it sold, which I think is a real shame, because that was a heck of a nice guitar. And anyway, it is what it is. Let's see. I guess we'll just go to the comments here. I'm a little bit befuddled today because I don't know, I just working too hard or something. Lester Cunningham looks like he was number 1, and that may have been from very early this morning. I think it probably was. So I'm just looking for question marks. Dottie's praying for us. Thank you, Dottie. Dottie says, hit the like button. Thank you. The thumbs up. David Tharp, I'm tired of people complaining about the cost of things. $2.50 for iced tea, $3.50 for coffee. Okay. Well, then David says, $4 for a slice of cake, $5 for parking. Any more complaining, and I'm going to stop inviting people over. He's always got the punchline there at the end. Yeah, I think my first time I ever really got shocked at prices. Now, you got to remember, this was back in the early 90s, maybe late 80s. I went to New York City. Now, that's a long time ago compared to today's prices. So just think you'd multiply it by about 3 for what I'm about to tell you. But it was the first time I'd ever been to New York City. So I was in this hotel, and I come down, and I thought, well, they got a restaurant here in the hotel. I'll see what I can get for breakfast. And it was, I think it was $8 for a glass of orange juice, and it was something about the same price for a bowl of cereal. I thought, are you kidding me? For a bowl of cereal? $8 and something? And that was the cheapest thing on the menu. That's why I was picking that. I just couldn't see spending, $40 for a breakfast, It was ridiculous. And that was in the 80s or 90s. It was unbelievable. Anyway, to me, that just seemed crazy. I don't know. Let's see. Wavy Gravy. In all this heat, my neighbor's wife left him after he wrote a love song for her. It was entitled, Kiss Me Quick, I'm Thirsty. Oh, God. Let's see. Turtley, a question for the next lesson. Could you describe and demonstrate the chop as it relates to the 2 and the 4 beat? Yeah, we'll talk about that. Thanks for bringing it up. I'll just make a note here to remind me to talk about that. Let's see. James Copy, goats love to climb on the trunks. Goats climb on everything. I don't care. If you set anything out there where they can get to it, they'll be on top of it. We had a goat here that, we had just paid, I couldn't even tell you, it was many thousands of dollars, double-digit thousands of dollars to roof this house because it took 96 square, unbelievable, huge roof. Anyway, and right after we got it finished, it was a few years later, Sue got this goat, and I caught that goat on that roof several times, and Sue got rid of the goat. Speaking of getting rid of things, I may as well tell you that Sadie is gone. Sadie is being rehomed. JR and Becca are doing that. I didn't even know she was gone. Sue didn't like her at all. And yeah, there you go. I went out. I went outside and I noticed she wasn't around. I thought, well, Sue probably got rid of her. So sure enough, that's what happened. Anyway, honestly, it's fine because she was just tearing up everybody. I mean, she hurt so many people, scratched them, made them bleed, several people. It was all mostly scratching. And she did nip a couple people, but it was just playing nipping. She wasn't like mean trying to hurt anybody, but she was hurting people and she broke a watch. I don't know. It was just bad. And so I'm good with the fact that she's gone. I kind of wish she would have grown out of that and we would have had her long enough for her to grow out of that because she was pretty smart. I think she would have been pretty good, but I didn't have time to mess with her. I know some of you will hate me for it, but it's just the way it is. I do not get attached to animals. I learned as a youth you can't do that, or I couldn't do that. It's a defense mechanism, I guess. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know. Sidecar, I'm having lunch in between sessions with the radio-controlled mower. Oh, yeah, cool. They're supposed to be sending us one of those, a 4-wheel drive deal. I don't know if we're getting it or not. I didn't hear back from them. I told them, yeah, it'd be okay, and they didn't. I didn't get, as far as I know, they haven't got back to me. Let's see. Okay, here are the guesses. Nancy Milosky says 4. Dottie says 10. Rod Wentler says 12. Paul Akers 4. David Hamilton 5. Lester Cunningham. Ding, 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 ding. Lester Cunningham got it right on the nose. 8. I got 8 out of that one log, which I think is pretty good. That was a 10-foot long log. And I got 8 regular 2x4s. Now that 2x4 means 1.5 by 3.5, and that's the standard size that a 2x4 is when you go buy one, and that's what size I cut them out at. Ronald Todd says 3, and Joe Everett 10, 2 times 2. Okay, don't quite understand that one. The Freeze. Good morning, Jerry. Tip for plasma cutter. Try not to touch the aluminum to the tip. It can blob up. Short tip blow. Yeah, I know it for sure. You don't want to touch the tip down to the surface. That's for sure. Yeah, I already have a different plasma cutter. I've never been real happy with it. It was one of the real cheap ones, you know, and I got it off of eBay quite a few years ago. I mean, it does work. But this one from Vivor, I really like it. It's designed nice. It's not that much different than the one I already have, but I think it seems to perform a little bit better. Sidecar about my RC mower is homemade from a Honda gas mower and an electric wheelchair. There are a couple of videos about it on my channel. Well, cool. That's real cool. I got to check that out. I like stuff that's homemade like that. Got 92 viewers right at the moment. Yeah, we're not getting as many during this odd time as we were getting. But I think I'm going to continue with this odd time for a few more days at least, or at least for tomorrow. And then maybe I'll continue it on Monday. I'm not really sure if I'll continue it or not. It's going to depend on the progress I'm making and the temperatures. If the temperatures are crazy hot and humid like they've been, I'm going to continue this for a while because I'm trying to get that done. I want to get that thing out of my hair. Anyway, that's going to be about it for today. I thank you all for being here, and I appreciate the thumbs up, and we will see you tomorrow. Well, we'll see you this evening at 7 o'clock with the lesson, and tomorrow with another vlog. Thank you so much.